In the ancient land of Ur of the Chaldeans, life was full of idols, noise, and man-made gods. The city was prosperous, known for its wealth, beauty, and temples, but its people worshipped stones, stars, and images that could not speak. In the middle of this world lived a man named Terah, the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Terah was an ordinary man with an ordinary life, but his family was destined to carry an extraordinary story. One day, tragedy struck their household. Haran, Terah's son and the father of Lot, died young in Ur, the land of his birth. The pain of losing a child while the father was still alive was unbearable. Haran's death left a wound in the family, but unknown to them, God was quietly writing a new beginning through the life of Haran's brother, Abram. Life went on. Abram married Sarai, a beautiful woman, gentle in heart, but barren. No children, no laughter of babies in her tent. In those days, barrenness was seen as shameful, a mark of unfulfilled destiny. Yet, in heaven's eyes, Sarai's empty womb was not a curse, it was preparation. Sometimes, God leaves certain things empty because he plans to fill them himself. Terah, still mourning his son, decided to move. Maybe he wanted a new start, a change of environment, or maybe he was following an unseen whisper. So he took his son Abram, Abram's wife Sarai, and his grandson Lot, and together they left Ur of the Chaldeans, heading for the land of Canaan, a land they had never seen. But along the way, they came to a place called Haran. It was comfortable, calm, and probably welcoming. There they stopped, and they settled. The Bible says he was headed for the land of Canaan, but they stopped at Haran and settled there. Genesis 11 verse 31. This one line holds a powerful truth. Sometimes, people stop where God meant for them to pass through. Haran was never the destination. It was just a resting point. Yet Terah stayed. We don't know why. Maybe age, comfort, or weariness. Maybe the pain of losing Haran made him want to stay where the name reminded him of his son. But because he stopped, his journey ended there. Terah died in Haran at the age of 205. But God wasn't done with Abram. After his father's death, God spoke to Abram. It was not a gentle whisper this time. It was a divine command that would change his life forever. Leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. Genesis 12 verse 1. God didn't tell Abram where he was taking him. There was no map, no assurance of comfort, no guarantee of safety. Just a promise. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. All the families on earth will be blessed through you. It was as if God was saying, leave what you know, and I will show you what you've never imagined. Walk away from the familiar, and I'll take you into the extraordinary. And Abram believed. At 75 years old, Abram packed up everything, his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, his servants, his livestock, and his household, and began the journey to the unknown. Faith made him move when fear told him to stay. Obedience made him walk when logic said, this doesn't make sense. When they arrived in Canaan, the land God had promised, Abram didn't find a peaceful paradise waiting. The land was already inhabited by Canaanites, strangers, people with their own gods and customs. But God appeared to Abram again and said, I will give this land to your descendants. Genesis 12 verse 7. There was no child yet, no descendant. Yet Abram built an altar, a symbol of faith, gratitude, and surrender. He didn't build a house, he built an altar. He didn't argue with God, he worshipped him. He didn't ask for proof, he believed the promise. Sometimes faith doesn't make sense, but it always makes history. From Shechem to Bethel, Abram continued to travel. Each place he reached, he built an altar and worshipped. He didn't know what tomorrow held, but he trusted the one who held tomorrow. Every altar was a reminder that God's promises are real, that the journey of faith is not about speed, but direction, that obedience unlocks blessings. And as Abram traveled south toward the Negev, he carried with him something far greater than livestock and servants. He carried the seed of faith that would one day birth nations. This story is not just history. It's a mirror of how God calls us today. Sometimes God calls you to leave your comfort zone, not because where you are is bad, but because he has something greater ahead. Obedience often comes before understanding. Abram didn't know where he was going, but he trusted who was leading. God's promise may not come instantly. Sarai was barren, but God already saw nations in her womb. Where others stop, you must continue. Terah stopped in Haran and died there. Abram kept moving and stepped into destiny. Faith is not about having the whole plan. It's about trusting one word from God more than 1,000 doubts from the world. Abram's journey from Ur to Canaan was not just a change of location. It was the beginning of a covenant that would shape the entire world. From a man who left everything came a nation that birthed prophets, kings, and the Messiah himself, Jesus Christ. And it all started with one man who said yes to God. So, when God tells you to move, don't settle in your Haran. Don't stop where it feels safe. Keep walking by faith, because on the other side of obedience, there is always a promise waiting to be fulfilled. Maybe you're standing at your own Haran right now, comfortable but stuck, safe but stagnant. God is calling you to step forward, to leave behind your fears, doubts, and old patterns, and trust His direction for your life. Don't let your destiny die in a place of comfort. Have the courage to say, "Yes, Lord, I will go." Trust God's voice more than your comfort. Obey even when you don't understand. Build altars of faith, not excuses. Keep walking, even when the road ahead is unclear. If this story touched your heart and strengthened your faith, like this video to show your support. Share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring, faith-filled Bible stories that will draw you closer to God. Your journey of faith begins with one step. Take that step today.